0433 or visit www.ecapl.com.
Genesis Steel offer full-service structural steel to leading industrial and residential builders across all metropolitan Melbourne and regional areas of Victoria. At Genesis Steel, we take pride in our product, service and reputation. With over 40 years industry experience, Genesis Steel manages all aspects of steel fabrication, from on-site measuring, in-house drafting, fabrication, through to full site installation. We work closely with our customers to deliver innovative solutions to facilitate projects of any size. For further information, please contact genissteel.com.au or contact the company on 03 9465 1287.
MS Designer Living specialise in architectural design and construction of new homes, unit developments, extensions, renovations and commercial buildings. They are located at 14 to 19 Enterprise Drive, Bundoora, and can be contacted on 03 9467 6954. MS Designer Living.
Electrical Connectivity Australia is a leader in the electrical industry and specialises in matters of a domestic, commercial and industrial nature. Please contact Igor Georgievsky for any of your electrical needs on 03 9333 0433 or visit www.ecapl.com.
Genesis Steel offer full-service structural steel to leading industrial and residential builders across all metropolitan Melbourne and regional areas of Victoria. At Genesis Steel, we take pride in our product, service and reputation. With over 40 years industry experience, Genesis Steel manages all aspects of steel fabrication, from on-site measuring, in-house drafting, fabrication, through to full site installation. We work closely with our customers to deliver innovative solutions to facilitate projects of any size. For further information, please contact genissteel.com.au or contact the company on 03 9465 1287.
Preston, near post City! It's in! And again, Warren Spink has a hand in it. Andrew Zinni scores the goal. Not only are the fans winning on the terraces, the team are winning on the pitch. 2 goals in 2 minutes. 2-1 up, Preston Macedonia, and we've got an invasion on.
Crossfield ball for Zaneski to try the spectacular. It's brilliant. Is it over the line? Yes. What's a goal from Alex Zaneski?
Kukulevski, he scored. It's the winner. What a great goal by Kukulevski. The crowd has gone wild, ladies and gentlemen. The Preston Lions are the Premiership champions.
Cross ball at the back post. There it is. And is that the goal that takes them up?
Through ball for Spink. He's in the box. Back for Cole. Cole square. Here's a chance for Smith. Smith, yes, it's there. Spink, Cole, Smith doing the damage. 1-0.
Good evening and welcome to the Lions Den, here live from the BT Connor Reserve Genesis Steel Stadium club rooms at our brand new pavilion. My name is Josh Parrish, streaming live across the Preston Lions Facebook page and the Football Nation radio platforms. I've got a packed show in store for you tonight. Here with me, Nuh Sehavdic. Nuh, how are you, mate?
Thank you. I'm very good. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, mate. He's been putting some spectacular performances out there on the pitch, as has the entire senior men's team. 5 wins from the last 5. Absolutely scintillating form coming into what could be the match of the season. And we're going to get into it with Nuh in just a moment. But first of all, there are some really important match details that we have to get through. There are special arrangements for the supporters this Saturday as dictated by Football Victoria. It's a 12:30 p.m. kickoff for the under-21s and the seniors are at 3 p.m. There's a separate car park for all Preston Lions supporters. You're required to park in the Harvest Home Recreation Reserve Community Pavilion car park, which is accessible only from Northfield Street behind the Woolworths. So the main Epping Stadium car park is off limits to Preston Lions fans. You can see all this information on our social media pages. There are diagrams, there are pictures of where you can park. There's the northeast entry gate, so a separate entry for all Preston fans, which is accessible only from the aforementioned car park. There will be no access to the car park or ground for Preston Lions supporters from the main Epping Stadium Harvest Home Road. The designated supporter areas are the north side of the ground, the northern hill, and the northern side of the main grandstand. So not beyond the tunnel. Nothing beyond the tunnel is accessible for Preston fans. The Melbourne Victory fans will be on the south side of that grandstand and the southern hill. The eastern side of the ground, which is where the broadcast will be taking place, is off limits for all supporters. So as per the agreed FV match plan, Preston Lions fans are allocated to exit the venue in the first 15 minutes immediately after the final whistle is blown. So no hanging around, unfortunately, after the game. We're out first. So make sure you exit the ground within that 15 minutes. And if you can't get there, the game will be live streamed on the MPL.TV platform. So no Facebook live stream this weekend. You'll still hear my voice on the commentary, but it will be on MPL.TV. So make sure you've signed up for an account if you haven't already. So no flags or banners are permitted. There is zero tolerance for any Preston fans who are not adhering to the behavioural expectations, FV code of conduct, conditions of entry, or representing our club inappropriately. And supporters who fall in breach of this will be reprimanded or banned from the club. So let's enjoy this fantastic match we have on offer this Saturday. It's possibly the game of the season. And we're going to get into it now with Mr. Nuh Sehavdic, who is, of course, a former Melbourne Victory player, Nuh. Big game for you.
Yeah, 100%. I was at Victory for 3-4 years, and I have a lot of good memories there. And also that stadium we're playing at, Epping Stadium, it's an away game, but it's kind of like a home game for me. That's where I was playing as well. And we're second on the ladder, they're third. And yeah, like you said, it's right now, to this date, the biggest game of the season.
Absolutely. I mean, Victory dropping points against Doveton over the weekend has elevated Preston into second spot, clearly, not just on goal difference. So a win on Saturday would put you 5 points clear in the promotion places, which is a huge carrot on offer, whereas, it can swing the other way, of course, but at Epping, we're expecting a pretty huge away turnout, a bit of a home away from home from the Preston fans as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we want, We want to go to the away games and feel like we're at home. And just how it's a big game for us, it's a big game for them. They're going to be up for it. So we have to go there, do our job, and take the points and, continue that streak and widen the gap.
Well, we want to get into a detailed preview of the match, but first let's rewind to last Friday night against Nunawading City. Different sort of game to the one you've been used to over the past few weeks. A side who turns up, actually wants the ball, wants to attack, and it was pretty hectic in the first 15, 20 minutes or so. There was space everywhere all of a sudden.
Yeah, usually when teams come to our ground, especially how wide it is and how big it is, they just, put 2 blocks of 8, and they just, wait behind the ball and try, get us on the counter. So it was a bit different, So some of the boys, were, getting a bit, agitated because we didn't have the ball, we're not used to that. But then at halftime, we came in, Louis spoke to us, we had a plan, and luckily, we went, done the job and took the points.
Well, let's talk about that plan, because what differed in the approach in the second half? It seemed to me that the team was a lot more compact.
Yes. So we could tell that in midfield, they looked like they had much more numbers than us. But then we realized, the wingers, they were coming in. So just be compact, push them out wide because they don't have numbers out there, and let them try break us and we'll get the ball and there'll be spaces for us out wide. And that's exactly what we've done, and we executed it perfectly.
There's a lot of hard work for you guys in the midfield in 100%. Particular, because they were trying to create overloads in there. You had Josh Varga drifting in from the wing to try and create an extra player. They were always trying to play through that middle of the park. It was about cutting off the supply line, and he did that perfectly in the second half.
Yeah, Josh Varga and all those players, they're very good ball-playing players. So if you let them with time and space, they're gonna hurt you, you know. So we had to work very, very hard, especially us 3 and 4 in midfield, and we done our job, and so did everyone else, and you know, we're very, very happy and proud of that performance.
Absolutely. So you should be. I mean, let's talk about the opening goal, which was yours,
Yes.
of course.
Yep.
Another one in keeper, a little suspect off the high ball all night. Seemed like you and Connor knew
Yes.
you had to run in on and try and capitalise on any mistakes in that department.
Yeah, Louis, I think in the first game as well, he was telling us that he knew that goalkeeper. He said when he catches the ball, you know, he might slip it up, and then in the first half, when he dropped the ball, I think Roxy just got it in front of Carl, and I was right behind, and I was like, oh, you know, we're going to score here, and he kicked it out. And then on the second time, when he dropped it once, you know, usually you think he's going to catch it the second time. I just started running, and then he dropped it again, and luckily, you know, I just took it off him and finished it.
Can you replay the moment of confusion amongst everybody, all the players and so forth, as we were waiting to see whether the goal would count or not?
Yeah, so when I scored, I turned around, you know, looking at the referee, and the referee was just like he was thinking it was a goal as well. But then everyone stopped, and we just like, come on, guys, you know, start celebrating this time, you know. If you start stopping, you know, you're going to think that he's going to change it. So we all ran to the halfway line, you know, to put in the, you know, referee's head that, hey, it's a goal, this, that. And, yeah, happily, you know, it came to our decision in our way.
I think it was the closest we've ever come to
Yeah.
VAR, a sort of delay in NPL. We had Louis running all the way down the touchline, referee running over to talk to the linesman. I mean, I think all the Nunawading players were calling for a foul on the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
How much contact was there between you and Martin?
No, there was nothing. So the goalkeeper dropped it the second time, and I didn't even touch the ball. He kind of like tried to pick it up, but then he rolled it on my knee, and it came perfectly because my body was in front. So then it just rolled up, and I just finished it. But then I think you can see, I watched the replay. He looked back at me, and he goes, "Oh, I made a mistake here." And I can tell they did a bit of a fakie over there, try to get out of it.
I have to admit, it fooled me on the commentary. Yeah. At first look, I thought, there's no way this is standing. And then the longer it went on, I thought, maybe it is a goal. And I think in hindsight, the reason why Perry, the referee, ran over to his assistant was actually to see whether the ball had touched Connor. Who we would have had the second goal line clearance from a Preston player on their own teammate of the match if that was the case. But turned out he managed to duck out of the way just in time and avoided the offside, and the goal stands. And what a crucial one it was. I mean, is that something you've worked on this season? That sort of poacher's instinct, I suppose, because you got quite a few goals to your name this season.
Yeah. So when I was at Victory, I've always been a striker. You know, 3-4 years playing as a striker. And Louis always tells us, me, Davies, and whoever plays, you know, up top, that whenever someone takes a shot, anything that goes near the keeper, you have to just take the risk. You know, if he fumbles it, if he drops it, if a rebound comes, just be there. And especially that game, you know, with the first half, those opportunities. Luckily, I was the one, you know, to go and pick it up and get that goal.
Well, how have you adapted to playing a slightly deeper role for a lot of the games this season? Of course, you had stints up front as well, but probably more of your football has come as more of a number 8 or a number 10. How have you adapted to that position?
Well, I've played those positions before. It is more tiring, I would say, because you much more defensive work, and especially where I was playing, it was more like a box-to-box. So I have to be in my own box defending, and then on top of that, when you give a long ball to Connor and he's running down the wing, you have to be in the other box as well, you know, to give an option to score. So it's been tiring, but it's been, you know, when you play with good players, you know, you got players behind you on the sides, it's much easier, you know. But yeah, it's been good.
Absolutely. And I think people perceive you as one of those sort of, you know, luxury, skillful players, but I was actually the other week when we were in here for the Lions Den last week. I always have a sticky at the high performance numbers that are stuck to the whiteboard that we flip over, of course, for the show. And there you are at the top of the standings for distance covered.
Yeah, I do run. That's where I probably get it from, that defensive and that attacking work rate, because, you know, like I said, Louis needs me in the box and back there. So when you're doing like 100 meters, and I like to show for the ball a lot, especially in those channels where, as a number 10, you don't really get it because it's very difficult. So I just always try to leave myself as an option, even if I don't get it. So that probably just adds the meters up.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it certainly looks good when you get the stats back, GPS stats at the end of the game. But in terms of, you know, making yourself available for the pass all the time, like a lot of players, I think, by and large, in Australian football, they don't want the ball in those situations. They don't want the ball in time. What gives you the confidence to say, I'm going to get it, I'm going to shield it?
Yeah, so I've always been a ball-playing player. I like to get the ball, dribble. No matter if I'm a very aware player, so I've always make my 2, 3, 4, 5 scans, And if I ask for the ball, I'm not blind to know if there's like 2-3 players behind me. So I just need the trust, you know, because if you give it to me, I know that there's players behind me. I want to hit it one touch pass or this, that. I'm not going to I'll never ask for the ball not knowing. So I'm just going to lose it, you know. So if the players trust me, there's always going to be, you know, like I'll know what I'm doing in that situation.
So you know what you're going to do with the ball before you even get it.
Yes.
So those passes, those little one-touch passes around the corner and things, is that something you've been working on in training with your teammates, getting them to pick up, I guess, your cues?
Yes. Yeah, so in training, you know, with the players that are, you know, closer to you, so maybe a Carl or Connor or Davies, you'll let them know, if I pick it up here, I need you to be here so we can just, you know, quick combinations, you know, to get out of it. Because if you just do it on the spot, I could be up for it, but then he's not. Or he's up for it and I'm not. And then there's that confusion. You lose the ball and, you know, they could end up scoring from it. So everyone has to be on the same page.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your time at Melbourne Victory, your former team you're going to be facing today. You and Ace and Joshua Bina as well.
And Nadim as well.
And Ned. Gee, there's a real former Victory contingent here. So tell us about your youth career with the Victory.
Yeah, so back in 2017, I was picked up by Melbourne Victory, and I was there for like 3-4 years. And I was towards the end in the first team with the, you know, pre-season with all those players, Ola Toivonen and, you know, Honda, and it was a good experience, you know. And I was there for 3-4 years, and then towards the end, I wanted to be more with the first team because I've done my years, you know, with the youth, and you want to like improve, and you need like better players around you, you know. And I spoke with them, and they wanted me there longer, you know, with the youth setup. But I wanted to be, you know, more with the first team, you know, because there was opportunities there, but, you know, they just said to me, oh, right now, you know, we don't have that. We can't offer you that. And then I had a few more offers for that opportunity in other A-League clubs. So then I just told them, thank you for everything you've done. Because when I got injured there, they did help me out. And, you know, I had a lot of good memories there. So I said, thank you guys so much, but I want to go, you know, take this risk, you know, and go for first team football.
Talk to me about Toivonen, because he's one of my favourite players I've ever seen play in the A-League, and I can see him as someone you'd admire and model your game off a little bit.
So he's very, very competitive, very, very competitive guy. He's not the quickest, you know, but he's very intelligent. In training, he'll just breeze through. Like, he'll just put the music on in the change room. Like, he'll look like he doesn't even, like, it doesn't bother him. He's not phased. Like, he just woke up and he's walking down the street with his dog, and then he'll just go. And then he'll pick it. He's a player that comes in as a 9 all the way in the midfield. He just pick it up, 1-2, long ball. One of the most intelligent players I've played with, and very competitive. I remember once playing a cage game, and I was on a different team with him, and I was doing very well. Like, I think I've scored like 4 or 5 goals. He scored like 3 or 4, and then it was my turn to go out, and, you know, be as a bouncer. And the ball came to me, and I played someone else, not him. And he just stood there, and he looked at me for like 1 minute. And I'm like a youth player. I'm looking away, and he's just staring at me like this. I'm like, this is going to hit me or something. But yeah, very good guy.
He strikes me as someone who'd be fairly unimpressed when his teammates make mistakes.
Yeah. He's one of those players, you know, if you're in his team and you lose or you made the mistake, you don't want to show your face. He's going to let you know about it, you know. He'll give it to you.
Well, he probably got the same treatment playing with Zlatan for Sweden the whole time.
That's exactly what I was saying to my teammates. I'm like, when he played with Zlatan, you know, what can you do?
He's on the receiving end.
So you have to give it here. So, you know, played in the World Cup, he has every right.
Yeah, scored against Germany, if I remember
correctly. Neuer, he tells us that every single day. He goes, oh, who scored against Neuer in the World Cup?
Unreal. So, after Victory, where did your career lead you?
So, I left Victory, and Western United told me to come down. And I was training there, and I was, you know, doing well. Diamante, everyone was there. You know, it was a good setup. At that time, there was no like youth setup or anything. So you have to be in the first team, or that's it. And then I think one training session they just said, "Oh, you know, we'll let you know if you can come back." And then the next training session they just said, "Oh, we're signing, you know, best at Berisha and stuff, so that you're not going to be playing often, you know. So I reckon you should go somewhere else." And then luckily, Melbourne City called me. And the coach was like, you know, you played well against us in the season, and we heard you're not with Victory anymore, come down. So I came down over there, and I was playing, I was doing well. And I also had an offer from Central Coast, but the Central Coast one was like a week prior of the Melbourne City. So I was like, I'll go to the Central Coast one, and then I'll go to the Melbourne City one. But then Melbourne City called me again. They said, oh, you know, we qualified for the FFA Cup final, so we want like you to play against Perth Glory, you know, like the Popovich team. like 60, 70 minutes. And I was like, oh, it's in Melbourne. I'm born in Melbourne. I'm like, it's like I should go there, but then I might miss out on the, Central Coast. But I decided to go with Melbourne City, and I was there for, I think, trialing for like a long time. And I saw trial lists come and go. And then my teammates were telling me, they're like, have you signed anything yet? And I was like, no, they haven't told me anything. Then I spoke with the coach, and he goes, oh yeah, next week. And then it came to I think the last week of the transfer window. And then they said, I think I was 19 or 20 at the time. And he goes, you're at the age where we want to give you a professional contract. And there was one left. So we were planning on giving it to you, but they wanted to sign, I think the chairman or something signed another kid from an interstate. And he goes, he took your spot. So if they never signed anyone, we would have given it to you. So I was there for like 3-4 months. And I was like, when you're there for so long, I was like, but what can you do? It's football.
I mean, it's pretty cutthroat, isn't it?
It is.
Do you feel strung along by that kind of process?
You get used to it, You get used to it, but when you play football, that's what you want to do, You're not going to say no to it, You just have to take the risk and get on with it.
So Dandy City?
Yes, so then after that, I was just like, I've been traveling too much. I just want to play somewhere local, And then I think one of the boys, I'm not too sure who, spoke to Sasha, and then Sasha saw, I think, my highlight video, and then he called me. He goes, I really like what I saw, And then I did some research on him, because at the time I didn't know, because I'm not too well with my Australian football, And I was like, this guy, he's played overseas, this, that.
Asian Player of the Year.
Yeah, and he's calling me, I'm like, who am I? Why is he calling me? And then he's like, come down, I'm interested. I spoke with him, and then I felt like it was the right place to be, Of experienced guy, a coach, knows what he's doing, and ended up there.
So it's Sasha who gives you the call to come to Preston, or Louis?
So when I left Victory, Louis messaged me to come to Preston then. So before the Melbourne City and everything, he already wanted me there, but it didn't go then. And then the year after, and then when I was with Sash at Danny City, he asked for me again, and then I still didn't go. And then when that season finished, I was like, maybe Preston might call me, because he kept calling me, and then he did again, and I was like, it's time to go now.
That's Louis. He's got tabs on all sorts of players all over the state. Fantastic. So heading into the game this weekend, there's so much on the line. There's been a few new boys joining in the training sessions. We're going to speak to one of them in a little bit. But first I want to ask you about Jonathan Gimano, who turned some heads in his first session, I'm hearing.
Yeah, Gimano, he's a very experienced player. You can tell, when the player comes, picks up the ball, the way he moves his head, his touches, his switches. With those players, you don't need to talk much, Like, those ones are the easiest to play with, and he's going to be fantastic for us. And we need a player like that. And, we're very happy to have him along with.
How have the other boys settled in so far?
Perfectly, just not off the pitch, but on the pitch as well. They suit our play. They're, good lads, and they'll do well for us, and we do need them for this end of the season to help us win that league.
Well, we absolutely do. And we're going to have, I'm guessing, a massive travelling turnout support as well. And it's going to be crucial, because this is one of the toughest fixtures of the season, playing these academy sides away from home when there's so much on the line. There was a red card in this fixture last season, I remember. It was a very, very competitive game. And, Victory want to go up as well. They're probably a bit embarrassing for them to be down in MPL 3 for this long for all these academy sides. Yeah. So, they're going to bring it from a competitive perspective. How have you prepared for this game? Is it any different to normal, or is there any specific preparation that you've been doing?
No, not really. Ever since, that how we won 5 games in a row after that Boxall game, we've been preparing just how we do every single game, the same intensity. We forget about the last game, we go into the next game, and we know this is going to be massive. Obviously, you have your little tweaks of who you're playing and how do they play and what to do, this, that. But same thing, we go do our job, and if we play the way we play, we know that, nobody can keep in touch with us.
Any superstitions you have going, trying to keep everything the same? Because you're on a good roll.
Me personally, no, not really. I just need a good night's sleep, and that should be fine.
So in the midfield now, you've got your former teammate at Dandy City, Nadine Skanderovich. How is he to play with? He told me after the match that he always used to be a 6 and he got a little bit too bulky to play there, but he's rediscovered the role. Has he shed a few kilos? Do you reckon he's mobile enough now?
Yeah, Nadim, he He's always been playing as a midfielder. His left foot, his passing ability, his strength, it was always there, But yeah, last year he did put on something. He took gym a bit too serious, and then he had to, Sash let him know, you have to let that down if you want to play some football. And I think at the start of the season he was still a bit up there from summer, and then
The beach vibe.
and then he had to stay as a centre back. But then when he went in and he lost that weight, he was, it's easier for him to move around because you can have the passing, but you need to move around. So now he, as you can see, his performance is doing very well.
He's getting a little fond of that left to right switch.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, it paid off for him on Friday.
He loves it.
But is he the most prompt teammate in terms of, you say he can move on the pitch,
Yeah.
but does he get here quick enough off the pitch? I've heard he's
That's
coming
the
a little
thing.
fine.
He takes me to training, we come together, and with him, I always have to get the text message ready to Louis that we might be a bit late. We have to be at 6:30, and I know maybe 6:27, 6:28 we might come. Yeah, he doesn't, never speeds, always speed limit. I don't think he's ever got a ticket in his life. Nothing, not one fine. But he's safe, so he'll get me here safely, so it's fine.
No fines from Vic Pol, but has he got any fines from the dressing room?
I think he has many.
Well, you two will be teaming up in the middle of the park on Saturday. Make sure you get down and support. Make sure you check out the socials and double check the parking arrangements and the entry requirements for this weekend, because there's a specific match plan as dictated by Football Victoria. So that's all up on our Facebook and Instagram pages, including maps of where you need to park and where you need to enter the ground. It's the north side of the ground and the northern side of the grandstand for the Preston Lions supporters. And we look forward to seeing record numbers of you out there packing out Epping Stadium in what could be a decisive game in the promotion battle. Nuh Sehavdic, thanks for your time tonight, mate.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to go to a quick break, and on the other side, we'll be joined by one of the new boys, Jack Bozinovski.
Electrical Connectivity Australia is a leader in the electrical industry and specialises in matters of a domestic, commercial and industrial nature. Please contact Igor Georgievsky for any of your electrical needs on 03 933 0433 or visit www.ecapl.com.
MS Designer Living specialise in architectural design and construction of new homes, unit developments, extensions, renovations and commercial buildings. They are located at 14 to 19 Enterprise Drive, Bundoora, and can be contacted on 03 94 67 6954. MS Designer Living.
Genesis Steel offer full-service structural steel to leading industrial and residential builders across all metropolitan Melbourne and regional areas of Victoria. At Genesis Steel, we take pride in our product, service and reputation. With over 40 years industry experience, Genesis Steel manages all aspects of steel fabrication, from on-site measuring, in-house drafting, fabrication, through to full site installation. We work closely with our customers to deliver innovative solutions to facilitate projects of any size. For further information, please contact genissteel.com.au or contact the company on 03 9465 1287.
You're listening to The Lions Den on FNR Football Nation Radio.
Welcome back. This is the official Preston Lions Club show. The Lions Den coming to you live, as we do each week, from the Genesis Steel Stadium Pavilion. We're in the club rooms this week. My name is Josh Parrish, and I'm delighted to be joined by one of our new signings from the mid-season window, Jack Bozinovski. Welcome to the Lions Den, and more importantly, welcome to Preston.
Thank you very much, Josh. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you, mate. You almost announced yourself in very spectacular fashion off the bench on Friday. Was that your first touch? Nearly found the top corner?
Yeah, first touch. Connor's running down the wing, crossed it in, gets a flick on from Nuh, and I got myself in the box, had a shot. Keeper saved it, unfortunately, but it was a really, really good start, and I was happy to make that impact off the bench.
I thought it was in, I have to say, on the call. I went really big. There was something in the air on Friday with Joshy coming off the bench, scoring with his first touch. You nearly did the same.
Yeah.
How have you settled it? Well, let's start with how you found yourself at the club. in the mid-season window. Where did the communication come from? Was it Louis who recruited you?
Yes, so I was at Werribee for the start of the season, season, 2022. And it was just some things weren't working out the way that I was hoping for. And during the mid-season, Lou gave me a call and said, come down and see how you go on Monday, have a session. If we like you, we want you to stay, whatever it is. So, we came down, had a good training session, and he wanted me to be a part of the squad for the rest of the season. And, I was really, really happy to take that opportunity and play for Preston. It was a really, really big opportunity for me, and, happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. What's that kind of feeling like when you're trialling and it's getting close to the end of the transfer window and there's a little bit of pressure on the line that if this doesn't work out, then can I find another club in time, or will I have to go down to the state leagues?
Yeah, it's pretty daunting coming in during the mid-season because especially a team like Preston, they're going for promotion and they've got a really strong core group, and you're coming in as a new player, new face. There's a lot of competition for places, and it was a bit daunting, but I backed my ability. I backed my confidence to go in and see if I can make a positive impact for the club, and it's turned out to be great so far.
How much did you know about the club before you signed? Was it something that you always known about? Because some people need to Google a place, and some people think, oh yeah, Preston Lions, wow.
Yeah, well, my Macedonian heritage, I've always been around Preston. I loved coming to the games when I was a young kid. I came to a few games. Came to a few games recently where there's 4,000, 5,000 people at a local game, and you can't really experience that in Victorian football other than here. So it was a really, really, as I said before, a really good opportunity for me to come down and represent the club.
So you've come here as a fan quite a few times.
A couple of times, to watch the boys. My brother plays for Western United.
Yep.
So he
is that Reese?
Reese Bozonovsky, yeah. So he before he got signed on the A-League scholarship, he versed Preston. Came down to watch him and also support Preston. So but I've been around the club, but it's been really, really good experience so far. Yeah.
So what did your family say when they heard you'd been picked up?
Oh, they were extremely proud. Obviously, they support me. They've been supporting me throughout my footballing journey ever since I was young, and they were extremely proud to represent this club. And
So let's rewind in your football journey. Where did it all start out for you on a more serious basis?
Serious basis. Well, my footballing career started at Green Gully. It was pretty local for me. That's where I started my juniors. And then I ended up moving to Clifton Hill, which Ivan Jolic, which is an assistant coach at, I believe, MacArthur now.
Yeah.
He was at the time the coach, a youth development coach at Clifton Hill, which I was really, really grateful to be a part of that team because I learned a lot during my time there. As a youth coming up, I made a Vic representative squad, represented Victoria national championships, couple of futsal state championships that I've won along the way. And then I sort of progressed into 20s football at Green Gully. So I went back there, done my 20s sort of experience there. Started breaking into the first team. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to the next level there. I couldn't get the senior minutes. From there, I went down to Sydenham to get my senior experience in football, which I thought I needed for my career, which helped me immensely. And then now I'm ready to take that next step and ready to cement my spot as a senior footballer.
Absolutely. I mean, let's talk futsal. What's your experience like there? What kind of competitive level were you playing at? What clubs and so forth?
I was at the Joma Jaguars. I'm not sure if they're still around anymore, but in my younger years, I was there. That would have been 2013, maybe 2014. Represented the club at a state championship.
Cool.
And ended up winning the whole thing. So yeah, it was it's always been good futsal. It keeps you sharp. Like in the off season, I've always been around it. So yeah, it's a good thing to sort of have a bit of fun and also work on your skills, sharpen up, and yeah.
Was that the FV stuff or the Futsal Oz stuff? It's all kind of a bit fragmented in Victoria. It's all a bit confusing.
That was the FV stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So that was state championship in Bendigo, and it was like a 2-day big tournament. Teams from all over Victoria competed, and yeah, ended up winning it.
So what about on the outdoor pitch? How do those futsal skills translate to your game, and what kind of style of player are you?
So in futsal, you're very pressed for time. There's a lot of pressure on you. You gotta think fast. So when you're out on the pitch, and you've been working on that stuff, when there's someone closing you down, you've automatically got the next move in your head. You're always thinking quicker, and that's translated into my game as well. If someone's closing me down, I'm ready to make the next move, and get away from my opponent or take a quick touch. It really helps me in small, tight spaces, defense pressing. I feel like once I've got a bit of time when it doesn't seem like I have time, I sort of have in the back of my mind, oh yeah, like I've got a bit of time here because I've worked in that situation before, yeah.
So playing in the midfield, it's a pretty seamless transition there. What kind of a midfield player are you? More of an attacking midfielder, creative player?
Yeah, so I've always been more of a 10 sort of an attacking midfield, creating, looking for the runs from the wingers, playing the balls in behind, getting into pockets between the midfield and the defence. And I've always sort of been that creative sort of player, yeah.
So how's it been settling into kind of Louis' system? Because he plays with these 2 10s, you got a lot of license to attack, but you've got to get back in the defensive end as well.
Yeah. I've found it a really, really good transition coming into Louis' system, and I found it really enjoyable to play under him so far. Obviously, it was a bit hard at the start, just trying to work out where to run exactly what we want to do. But after a couple of sessions, it worked out. Yeah, that I'm settling in quite nicely into that 10 position, and then obviously you got to work back. But that's just a part of football. If you want to win, you gotta defend, and that's it. You got to work hard, and yeah.
So in terms of your experience of the club from outside, we know you were pretty excited by the prospect of playing in front of these crowds and these fans and so forth. How about now that you're on the inside of the club and you see the approach taken to training and high performance and all that kind of thing? What's been your first impressions there?
Yeah, the first session came into the change rooms. It's very professional environment, which I thrive under a professional environment, and seeing 3, 4, 5 coaches on the pitch. There's the GPSs, and I really like where the club's going. I feel like they've got a really good vision in terms of moving forward and taking that next step, and eventually bringing it back to NPL, because that's where I believe the club should be, the way that it's set up at the moment, and I'm finding it really enjoyable.
Well, that's the plan. Get this club back to the Victorian top flight at the very least.
That's it.
So victory on the weekend,
Yep.
massive game. What's the intensity of training been like during the week? Noah was telling me it was pretty competitive out there.
Oh yeah, it's really intense. Where they're obviously Victory going to come out. They're going to be firing. So we need to bring in training, and hopefully the intensity we show at training translates to the game, and we come out and we're ready for what they have to bring us, and hopefully take the 3 points.
Now, I want to ask about Sash Ognanovsky, because with Jimmy potentially out of the picture this weekend, he's only one injury or suspension away from making a first team appearance, and I know a lot of the fans are pretty excited about the prospect of him slipping on the shirt again. Even if he says he's just emergency backup, how's he been to face in training sessions?
Oh, he's despite his age, he's not lost his competitiveness. I'll tell you that much. He's very, very intense, very serious about his football, and if he gets called upon, if the worst case scenario he gets called upon, I've no doubt in my mind that he'll do the job because he's still there. He's very, very intimidating defender to come up against, and I'm sure he'll do a very good job if he's called upon.
How about settling into the group, just from a social perspective and so forth? Have you found the environment, welcoming to these new players?
Yeah, extremely welcoming. Everyone's been really, really respectful. They've welcomed me in like I've been a part of the team since the start. So, which is very, very, very encouraging for me and as any new footballer coming in. You don't want to feel like you're sort of brushed aside. They welcome me in with open arms, even not even in the change room, even outside the change room, coaching staff, supporters of the club. They welcome me in. So yeah, it's been a really, really enjoyable experience so far.
Well, we're delighted to have you. We need some reinforcements in this mid-season window, and who knows? If you a cameo off the bench, you might find the top corner on the weekend and instant hero. And that's why this man came to the club, is to play in front of these supporters. So we need everybody behind both of our senior teams this weekend. It's a huge game for the men on Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff at Epping. So let's bring it this weekend. Let's bring your voices, bring the passion, come in numbers, and get behind the boys for perhaps the biggest game of the season. Jack Bozinovski, best of luck on Saturday, mate.
Thanks very much, Josh. Appreciate it.
We're going to take a short break. We've got a couple of members of the women's side on the other side, so stick around here on the Lions Den.
Electrical Connectivity Australia is a leader in the electrical industry and specialises in matters of a domestic, commercial and industrial nature. Please contact Igor Georgievsky for any of your electrical needs on 03 9333 0433 or visit www.ecapl.com.
MS Designer Living specialise in architectural design and construction of new homes, unit developments, extensions, renovations and commercial buildings. They are located at 14 to 19 Enterprise Drive, Bundoora, and can be contacted on 03 9467 6954. MS Designer Living.
Genesis Steel offer full-service structural steel to leading industrial and residential builders across all metropolitan Melbourne and regional areas of Victoria. At Genesis Steel, we take pride in our product, service and reputation. With over 40 years industry experience, Genesis Steel manages all aspects of steel fabrication, from on-site measuring, in-house drafting, fabrication, through to full site installation. We work closely with our customers to deliver innovative solutions to facilitate projects of any size. For further information, please contact genissteel.com.au or contact the company on 03 9465 1287.
MS Designer Living specialise in architectural design and construction of new homes, unit developments, extensions, renovations and commercial buildings. They are located at 14 to 19 Enterprise Drive, Bundoora, and can be contacted on 03 9467 6954. MS Designer Living.
Electrical Connectivity Australia is a leader in the electrical industry and specialises in matters of a domestic, commercial and industrial nature. Please contact Igor Georgievsky for any of your electrical needs on 03 9333 0433 or visit www.ecapl.com. You're listening to The Lions Den on FNR Football Nation Radio.
Welcome back for the final time this evening to the Lions Den, the Preston Lions Club show, coming to you live here from the club rooms. I've got two members of our senior women's reserves side, Lexi and Shannon. Welcome to the Lions Den.
Thanks for having us.
Tell us, first of all, about how you both got involved with the club. Shannon, if I give away your last name, I'll probably give away the whole story, but go on then.
Yes, well, my brother is a senior women's coach, and I basically stopped playing for 7 years when he asked me to come and join in the Rezzies and just basically get involved again, help out the coaching and some of the younger girls, with a bit more of a senior sort of aspect of it. That was 2 years ago now, so happily joined Preston Club then on his request.
So, you didn't need much convincing to answer the call, or did your brother have to twist your arm a little bit?
I originally just agreed to come down and train a couple of nights a week. I hadn't done anything quite some time, so trying to get back into it was a little bit harder. But after a few sort of training sessions, I sort of watched a couple of games and the girls kind of asked me to come and play. Rookie mistake by them. All I do is yell at them now. But after a couple of training sessions, I sort of agreed to come on board, but I don't know if it was worth it or not from their aspect. But yeah.
I'm sure it was. What's your playing experience like prior to this?
So I've played for about 15 years prior to sort of taking a break back in 2016 when I had a job change. Basically, I started playing in Country Vic up in Albury-Wodonga when I was about 10, I think. And I've basically played in a boys' league all the way up till thirds or reserves men when I was 23. So I played in a boys' team the whole way through, as well as senior women's stuff. But I've played a bit of like representative stuff and a few state sides and school sides and stuff. So a little bit of experience over my time. But again, old head on sort of younger shoulders would be helpful, but the body just doesn't quite handle it anymore. But yeah.
What's it like playing in a boys' team compared to this environment?
It's good.
Yeah?
If girls at younger ages can play in a boys' team, I would recommend it so much. It just teaches you more physicality. When I first started playing in a boys' team, they treated me like a girl to start with, until I earned the nickname a thumper because I kind of ended up being a bit rough. But it teaches a different type of physicality. So again, bring that into metro, soccer leagues and that sort of thing, and playing down here in Melbourne from country. It really helps because obviously down here they're a lot more physical. You just have to watch the game on Friday for the seniors in Eltham. They're physical. So that transition is quite good when boys actually kind of give it back to you a bit more than actually just kick and giggle type thing that you expected to do as a girl in the country.
So is she still pretty physical in training? Did she go through you a few times?
Very. You have to be careful.
Sorry.
So Lexi, what's your story? How did you end up at Preston?
I'm going to say courtesy of my uncle.
Who is?
Nuh Sehavdic.
There we go.
So he'd kind of been mentioning Preston for a while, and I'd been sort of not putting it off, but because I do live a bit further, it was just a bit of a hike. But finally made the decision to come down, and definitely a good choice.
So what's your playing experience been like prior to Preston?
Similar to Shan, I did start playing with boys, so I've played since I was about 6, so coming up to 11 years now. Played with boys.
What clubs? Lots?
Yeah, a few. Played with boys till I was about 10, 11, and then started with girls, and rest is history.
So how have you enjoyed playing at Preston, even if it's a bit of a hike?
Very good community, very good club culture, good group of girls, and then, of course, the football aspect is great. It's been really good.
So what was the score on Friday? There seemed to be some confusion about the final result.
Yeah, there was. We were told 11-0. The FFV page says 13-0. So we kind of stopped counting after like 5 or 6. And that's it.
Do you celebrate goals still?
No.
The first couple.
Yeah, after about 4 or 5, then we were like, it's a bit obnoxious now, let's stop. But it's definitely, then when we get back in the change rooms, different story, but
That's very big of you, actually. I think I'd be coming up with more and more elaborate routines, 10-pin bowling, fish,
Look, we've thought about it, but sometimes you just got to be the bigger person.
Yeah, look, you just got to wait for the team that you really hate, and then you can rub it in.
It'll come.
Yeah, 100%.
I can tell there is one now.
100%.
We won't mention them, but...
There's a few.
Okay.
But
there's a few?
What, 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call it 2 or 3.
So it got pretty physical, you mentioned, in the seniors game?
Yeah, well, in the seniors game, obviously just watching from the sidelines, it's interesting to see the second half of the season. Obviously, we're just starting into that, and the transition between the teams from round 1 or the start of the season to what they're playing like the second half, they've got a lot more physical, or they've recruited more players, and they're actually developing more. Example, Eltham the other night, even in the Rezzies. I think our first game against them here was bucketing raining. Yeah. They almost called it off, and it was 17-0. But the fact that it's obviously still in the high numbers, double figures, but it's less. They challenged us more. They were more physical on the ball, and then the same in the seniors. They came out firing from get go. So it's good to see that transition of other clubs as well. Knowing that for us next year we're looking at MPL, especially for our seniors, that other clubs are sort of on that same path as well. It's not just everyone stacking into one club, and as they tend to do sometimes. But it's nice to see that transition begin. It brings that challenge. It makes us step up harder and play better and take our team to the next level.
I want to ask you about your brother.
Sure, go ahead.
How often are you having Preston-related conversations with him on a weekly basis?
Okay, in all honesty, the only time I speak to him is at soccer, or if we do have dinner, it starts out like a lovely family dinner, and probably 20 minutes into it, someone mentions football, and then my dad and him just continuously talk. Like, my dad coached for 45 years, and that's obviously clearly where my brother got it from, but they're both very passionate about what they do and how they do it. And it would be easy to say he sucks at his job, but he doesn't. He's good at it. He just knows how to coach, so it always goes that way. Or you mention someone's name and that just goes off on a tangent again. His partner is an absolute patience of a saint, that woman, to how many conversations she has to go through. But yeah, it's a daily basis.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I've got a login for the VO account now, and
God.
the level of detail with the comments is something else. He lives and breathes it, doesn't he?
Yep, eats, breathe. Like it just becomes a whole other life. Like even in the off season, he's still got his foot on the pulse in something else, or he's talking to someone about maybe getting them across, or someone's not happy at their club. It's always a conversation, and his phone goes off 24/7. Like the girls are messaging about something, or Rach might be reviewing her game from the weekend, and like she'll shoot him a text, and like it just doesn't stop. Like it's just what he does, and I think that's why he does have such a good group under him at the moment, is because he has that really good relationship with them, and they all want to be there and work for him because he's built that. I could sit here and say he's crap, but again, he's not. So.
I was really hoping you'd stitch him up.
I know. I was trying to think of something before, and I was like, I've really got nothing, because he's just good at his job. And obviously he's worth being here at Preston, and obviously pushing to get that MPL. So it'll be nice to see him achieve that, because he has really been a pain in my backside about pushing to get where he wants to do to achieve his coaching career goals. So it'd be nice to actually see him get there.
Absolutely.
I've got nothing for you. Sorry, I tried.
I was also so tactful, but I was hoping for more juicy details. But so we've heard a little bit about her playing style. What do you like as a player? What position do you play? What kind of style of player are you?
I play on the wing, typically on the left, sometimes on the right, wherever I'm told. Can't complain. I wouldn't say I'm aggressive.
No, you wouldn't say you're aggressive. It's just like you're very passionate, and I think that like you're very hard on yourself though too.
Yeah, that's another thing. But no, it's a bit of everything. I wouldn't say I'm too physical, but yeah, when the time comes, when it's necessary.
Are you quick? Do you take players on? You're a team first player. What do you?
Yeah,
pride yourself on?
I do definitely. I would say my speed is definitely used to my advantage a lot in games, especially because I am playing along the line. It's a lot of running, but yeah, it's definitely good. And sometimes I think Sark started playing. He originally was playing me sometimes on the wing and then sometimes as a 10. But yeah, nothing beats being on the side.
Yeah, being on the wing, crossing it in for the forwards.
100%, yeah.
You must be doing something right. They've scored so many goals this year.
Yeah, I can't take credit for that, but yeah, it's definitely a team effort. Yeah.
And what's the group culture like? Yeah, it seems like this team has a lot of fun on a week-to-week basis. It's hard It's hard not to when you're winning 11-0, but even so.
Yeah, like I said before, a really, really good bunch of girls. We have a very I'd like to say we have a pretty strong bond between all of us. It is a lot of fun, but I think we also know when to kind of buckle down and put in the hard effort. But yeah, like you said, with the results every week, it's hard not to kind of take the piss a bit.
So this weekend, Southern United. It's basically a home game for you, isn't it?
Yeah, very close actually.
I was going to talk about a long road trip, but then I thought actually you're in the Southeast team.
I don't have to leave till like half an hour before the game, so it's great.
Beauty. So Clyde North, a bit of a trek for everybody else, but you're laughing.
Yeah.
We know about the Southern United first team being I'm not sure if defensively resilient is the right word. I think former Matilda's goalkeeper is probably the more apt description of the Southern United team, having Melissa Barbieri between the sticks. We know the senior women are going to have their work cut out. But what's the Southern United Resi's team like? What kind of threat, if you remember from earlier
I think when we played them the first time, they only had 10 players, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
But they put up like a very good fight. I think we only came out with, what was it, 4-1 or something like that?
Yeah, I think they started with, actually had 11 to start with, and a couple of them had to toddle off to seniors because that's how short they were for numbers. So again, it might be like Eltham, they might have recruited more players and it could be really work cut out for us this week. But yeah, I think we only won 4-1 or something.
So they definitely put in a very good effort. So it's going to be a bit of a tough one, but I think because we're coming to that end of the season, we really need to kind of put our heads down, focus, and put in the hard effort.
Well, you're chasing a championship, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Both teams.
Top of the table, we're clear at the moment, so we just need to keep it that way. It's ours to lose. So
We want to keep the undefeated clean sheet, so got to put in hard work.
Absolutely. And, you know, you could be on for a double with Resis and Seniors Championship if all goes
Fingers
right.
crossed.
Fingers
All goes
crossed.
well.
Knock on whatever material that whiteboard is. There we go. There's some wood over here. What about from a seniors perspective? Is there a different strategy this week? Are you going to have to sort of round Melissa Barbieri, square it to an open goal tap in? Is there a...
we haven't had that pep talk at dinner this week yet.
Okay,
I know I've no idea what their game plan is, but I'm sure Daniel's gone back and reviewed their games against other people several times, as he does, and come with some sort of game plan going forward. So he always goes into games well planned and well prepared. He literally will go and watch their last 3-4 games and see how their structure and setup is, so he can counteract that. So thinking on his feet, I'm sure they'll come up with something, and the girls are starting to really lift their game and they're really hitting their stride coming into the end part of the season. So I've got no doubts they'll take the win again this week.
Well, it was 1-0 last time out. Wasn't an easy one. Created plenty of chances, mind, but a few spectacular saves. And in the Resis, as you mentioned, they put up a real fight even with less players. What's the competition like for minutes in the Resis? Because I know there's quite a big squad.
We quite often have about 6 sitting on the bench.
Yeah, it is.
The envy of the rest of the league, I'd imagine.
I know. Yeah. So it's a really tough problem to have this time of season. I mean, it is tough for getting numbers. I mean, some of the seniors that are came back from injury or something, and obviously trying to get their minutes up to get back into senior squad again. And we do have a very young squad in ours as well. And I've sort of said to Sykes like the last couple of weeks, like I'm happy just to yell at them from the bench and let someone else take time, because obviously, we want to progress people and we want to keep our younger guys and improving and getting more confidence up. So yeah, it is tough to fight for the minutes on the park. But Sykes does what he can in terms of things. But.
And it is a good problem to have. Like, as much as everybody wants, and we're all fighting for as many minutes as we can get, we are lucky to have kind of that flexibility there, which is good.
Is she going to be a coach one day?
Well, I hope so.
I'm moving in 4 weeks, so no.
I'm in denial at the moment. She sprung that news on me before. That's all right.
So, do you have coaching aspirations at all, or are you just happy being a helper?
I'm happy being a helper. Like, I don't have the same drive that Daniel or Sykes do, but I really enjoy teaching people and helping people and seeing people get better. So I'm really happy just to help. As I said, I've got 16 years on some of the girls in our team. That's how much the age gap is. So yeah, I'm more than happy just to help, but no career aspirations. As Dave keeps hinting to every time something happens. He's like, next senior women's coach. I'm like, no, Dave, I'm out. No, I haven't got it in me.
Well, just from our conversation here, I immediately thought coach.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Nope.
She's a great mentor. She's a really good role model.
I'll stay at that.
Yeah. There we
You
go.
can expand that.
We'll talk her around.
We'll save this argument for the car.
Thank you both for coming in and joining me on the show.
Thank you for having
it's been an
us.
absolute pleasure. And best of luck this weekend for your home away from home for you. And the long way trip for the rest of us. Salandra Recreation Reserve.
Oh, that sounds about right.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It's up on the socials, of course, and on game day as well. 1:30 p.m. kickoff for the reserves. 3:30 p.m. kickoff for the seniors on Sunday against Southern United. Of course, the senior men playing on Saturday, 12:30 and 3 p.m. Reserves and seniors against Melbourne Victory. We look forward to seeing you all out there at both games. Go Preston.
Preston. Near post City. It's in. And again, Warren Spink has a hand in it. Andrew Zinni scores the goal. Not only are the fans winning on the terraces, the team are winning on the pitch. 2 goals in 2 minutes. 2-1 up, Preston Macedonia, and we've got an invasion on.
Crossfield ball for Taneski to try the spectacular. It's brilliant. Is it over the line? Yes. What a goal from Alex Taneski.
Kukulevski, Kukulevski, Kukulevski.